Okay, so it's my job as a wine buyer to go hunting. You know, not every great bottle of wine is going to come to you. A lot of times you have to go to it. And in this case, we came to it. Cha, da. It was on a list. You know, a lot of times wholesalers, suppliers send us their lists of goods. And I try maybe once every 2 or 3 months. They go through the list and go, oh, maybe, okay. And this was on the list. And I couldn't believe the vintage, and I couldn't believe the price. So I double checked it with the supplier. And they're like, oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I said, okay, great. I need to try this wine immediately. They brought a sample. We tried it. And I'll be hornswoggled. It was really good. So here's what we have. We have 10-year-old Barolo from a warm vintage. No, it was a hot vintage. From a great producer with a little secret behind it. First of all, I'll start with the vintage. 03, torridly hot vintage in Europe. You know, old people dying in France type vintage. Just horrible. I mean, one of the hottest vintages on record. Now, when you go to Piedmont, though, Piedmont's actually a cooler area in general. And the other key here is, when you go to Piedmont, just like in Burgundy, all the top vineyards tend to be the ones that ripen first. The ones with the best exposures, the ones that actually see the most heat. Because generally, these vineyards don't get that hot, right? They get cool. They're generally cooler sites. So sometimes they're more worried about the grapes ripening than getting overripe. So what happens is in the warmer years, the lesser sites actually perform better. You get this reverse relationship where the lesser sites, the poorly exposed sites, the poorly drained sites actually ripen properly, perfectly, under the warmer conditions. And that's what we have here. This is Grasso's, just his entry-level Barolo, which, you know, usually is generally a little greener, maybe a little more herbaceous, and the top single vineyard wines are the ones with all the fireworks and la 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 la. But this wine has the fireworks in 2003. It's drinking great right now. The wine has this wonderful core fruit, still a little bit of chew to it. You know, in the warmer years, you get thicker grape skin, so accordingly you get more tannins. The deal here is the tannins are ripe. Even though they're plentiful, they're ripe, and they melt. So they kind of dissolve on the palate, especially when you're hitting the oilier foods, the fattier foods, the richer foods, then these tannins tend to dissipate faster. Now, I told you there was a little secret to this wine, and the secret is, this wine doesn't say anything on it other than Barolo. But in fact, if you do your research, if you open your books, you'll find out that Silvio Grasso makes a wine, his entry-level Barolo, if you go on his website, is a wine called Pivigne, P-I-V-I-G-N-E, Pivigne. And basically, this wine is that same wine. Why they didn't put Pivigne on the label, I don't know. Maybe to simplify things for the American market, maybe as looking towards restaurants, maybe towards, I don't know. The fact of the matter is, this is the same wine that if you go on winespectator.com right now, you'll see it carries a $50 price tag and a 90-point score. But best wines, it ain't 50 bucks. Much, much less. So get some of this. It is an amazing deal, drinking great now, perfectly stored. It came direct from the winery. The bottles are brand spanking new, and I know some of this is going to my cellar.